Hey guys, it's Ubus here, the Baron's Finest, getting you guys another little deck profile from my locals, I guess. I've been kind of enjoying actually playing different stuff weekly again. It's been a really nice change of pace, and it's given me an excuse to playtest other decks that I've been meaning to playtest more. Mainly because once Dragon's a Legend comes out, I'll probably be sticking to a few decks for a while. This lets me just expand out a little bit. It gives me some fresh air, I guess, to playtest with. And I decided to play Madolche again. This is different from the build that I have profiled here on the channel. I actually am playing Trick or Treat, the Ghostrick Madolche build. Not the exact build that taught the YCS or I believe any other regionals in the past, but this is just I guess my take on it. I definitely see room for improvement, and I'm more than willing to listen and take suggestions on them. But this is my initial build of Trick or Treat, and I'll go and get started. So to start off with, I play 2 copies of Madolche Ghostrick. Admittedly, today was the first time I ever actually said I won the third, but I managed to work around the 2 for the majority fairly well. There were just awkward moments where it's I would have liked the third, but I managed to combo out into the point where I didn't need the third, so it worked just fine. I mean, you could definitely play 3. I wouldn't really be opposed to 3 in this build. Then, 3 copies of Madolche Madolche. Madolche is Madolche. I get to open her a lot, and it was really nice. But pretty much one thing I wound up with is if you didn't open a Madolche searcher or a Ghostrick searcher, the deck really reached an awkward standpoint to the point where you were just more than likely going to lose. And it really kind of sucked, but what can you do? One thing I'm doing that I don't see a lot of other builds of this deck doing is I'm actually playing the one Madolche Croissant. Croissant, in my opinion, it really helps out because the fact that it's an extra Madolche. And, I mean, arguably you can cut this for the third gelato. That's probably what I would do if I were to make that swap for the third gelato. But I like the fact that he was just a level 3 I could summon and not care as much for. Whereas I really didn't, the fact that he was just a level 3 helped out a lot, and I actually needed him. There were times where I actually sided him out, and I thought I still played it in games 2 and 3. And it led me to making awkward plays, but it still worked out. I mean, I liked it. 2 Hoot Cake. I'm personally against 3, and I really don't agree with 3. I just it's a good card, but opening with it kind of sucks. Unless you have Ghostricks or something like that, actually can go into grave. So I don't know. I'm a fan of 2, and I like the 2. 2 never had any issues with me. In fact, I actually lost when I kept opening this too much. So that was that. Then to round out the Madolches, 2 of the Kitty. It's the Marauding Captain of the deck. Probably one of the better cards in the deck. I don't agree with Alexander Thomas on, well, I believe that's his name, on the whole one Mufle. If that's how you pronounce it, I could be incredibly wrong. But that was it for the Madolche piece. Onto the Ghostricks. Actually, I'm going to be kind of checking back and forth, so forgive me. Alright, sorry about that. I'm going to be slightly distracted while doing this art profile, but yeah, I guess to make it last time. For the Ghostricks, I play 3 Jiangshi. She's the Yu-Gi-Oh! Armor of the deck. You flip her, get a Ghostrick. 3 Jack Frost. The card that, admittedly, if I opened this, I actually thought I was going to lose, and I was pretty much right. Opening Jack Frost, unless you have, Hoot Cake or something, kind of blows. It's not the card you want to really open with. It's a good card, but it's not, the best card to really, per se, open with, because you want to search it off your Jiangshis. And the card that gets you your Jiangshis were the 3 copies of Mary. I loved Mary so much throughout the day. It made opponents make Dweller when they really didn't want to make Dweller against me. And it caused a lot of awkward situations for my opponent. And that is actually it for the monsters. It's 19. I know some people criticize me not main decking Veiler. But I did not have room to main deck Veiler. Actually, I did not see any space. I didn't want to go up to 41. So that was that. And I didn't want the monster count too high. I felt that 19 was ridiculous. It was a little high for my taste, but it worked out. So now that we're past all the monsters, let's go on to the spells. I played the 1 Dark Hole, because Dark Hole's Dark Hole. Book of Moon, because Book is a good card. 2 MST. I'm personally not a big fan of 3. I haven't not ever really been a big fan of 3. But what can you do? 2 Chateau. I finally remembered this thing actually lets you add the Madolches from, if they be destroyed back to hand. So I've been forcing myself to learn that. 2 Ticket. It's Aurora. And 3 Duality. For people who know me, how I normally like to play this deck, I like to go with I like to play one Roto, one Upstart. But in this build, you need to see the Jiangshi, so duality works. Plus, you don't special summon every turn, so that's another reason why I like duality so much. Plus, I would side 1 and 2 out in games 2 and 3, depending on how my game state was going. And that is it for the spells, I believe. And on to the traps. And sorry again, guys, I'm like getting partially distracted at 4 in the morning for some reason. For my traps, I play one Palooza. I never wanted more than one of this, to be completely honest. Like, seeing this too early is kind of bad, but seeing it at the right time is amazing. One Bottomless, one Torrential, one Compulse, one Warning, aka the 4 basic traps that get you through your deck. And, you know, the 4 basics, I don't know what else to say. I want to play one D-Prison. I love this thing during the very few times I saw it. D-Prison, it put in work. I was glad to have it. 2 Mirror Force. Never resolved more than one a game, but Mirror Force. And the one card I never saw all day was Fiendish. I never drew this once. I don't know why the Fiendish never decided to show it for me. And that is it for the main deck. It's an even 40. I wanted to play some other stuff, but I wasn't sure what else I really could play. And I wanted to just test like a basic build, nothing really tacky, I guess. So yeah, that's pretty much it for the main. Onto the extra. I played one Dullahan. I never made this all day. I don't really feel like this deck actually needs Dullahan. Like, I would probably cut this actually for a rank 4 that I really can't be specific about, but any rank 4 that will just let me freely detach during my turn. Because I needed that a couple times throughout the day, and Dullahan was a card that was just eating up a slot. I never made it. Anytime I had the chance to make Dullahan, I was already in a bad game state, and he could not help me out of it in any way, shape, or form. One Zenmains, because Zenmains is Zenmains. One Invoker. I actually wanted the second one once all of today, and I probably would play the second one if I had the second, but I don't really want to go and drop the money for the second. Plus, I'm going to force myself to just, I guess, be like OCG logic, where it's like, oh, you can get away with one. Just be smart about it. So, the one Invoker was okay. One Mech Quipped. I wanted to make him so many times throughout the day, but I never really had the proper chance to, so it was awkward. Alucard, probably my most abused rank 3. I mean, I never really got his Psycho Ghostrick effect off, but it's the fact that you just get the pop cards is so stupid with him. Leviair, never made it. Number 17, never made it. And onto the rank 4s. One Abyss Dweller. I made this once, but that was just because I had to actually detach to get a play going. One Excitonite, never made it. Diamond Dyer, made this once or twice. Heartland Draco, I was testing this over Cowboy, just as a Therio type thing, but it never came up, so never made it. Downer, never made it. 101, I wanted to make it, but never had the chance to make it. And then 2 Tiramisu, made this a decent chunk. Never made more than one a game, though. I really don't agree with people who say you need like 3 of it or whatever. So, side. I should note that this is a side that I BS'd right before the tournament, so take this with a grain of salt. 2 Valor, I didn't have the room to main deck them, so I chose to side them. 1 Rainbow Curry Boat, because I couldn't find anything else to side. 2 Maxi, because why not? 2 Snowman Eater, which were supposed to be Fire Ferrets, but I couldn't find them, and Snowman actually helped me out a decent chunk. 1 Kaiku, never sided it, wasn't supposed to be in here. Supposed to be a Light Mirror, but I couldn't find it. Thunder King, sided in, never drew it. Spell Shattering Arrow, Ethereal thing I'm testing right now. Sided it, but it never actually got out of use. 1 Mind Crush, it's supposed to be 2 in here, I just couldn't find my second. 2 DNA, never sided this in, and 2 D-Monk, which I never sided in, oddly enough. And that's about it for the deck profile, guys, so let me know what you guys think of the whole Trick or Treat build, what your thoughts on it are, and any and all suggestions would be great. So, this is Iblis of the Brand's Finest signing out. Until next time, guys, peace.